Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year everyone. Today I'll be teaching you how to make a perfect granny square, as I am preparing to use these for my upcoming projects. So the materials that you'll need are any yarn of your choice. You can choose your colors the way you want, and then you'll also need a darning needle, a crochet hook. For the hook, I am using a 4mm crochet hook, and then you will also need a pair of scissors. The yarn that I used for this tutorial is Winter King. It's a 4-ply acrylic yarn, but you can use any yarn as long as you use the corresponding hook that's mentioned on the label of the yarn. So without further ado, let's get started. So you're going to start off with a magic ring. You're going to rotate your yarn around your 2 fingers like this, and then this is the tail. So you're going to grab your hook and put it under this loop and grab the working yarn. You can notice that what we are grabbing right now is attached to your yarn ball. It's the long yarn. So you're going to grab this and pull through like this, and then you're going to remove your 2 fingers. So we're going to chain 1 just to close off the magic ring, and this doesn't count as a chain. We just chain 1 to close off the magic ring, and then you're going to make a chain of 3, 1, 2, and 3, and this counts as our very first double crochet. So you're going to go into the magic ring as we formed here. You're going to go into it with 2 more double crochets. So for a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's a double crochet in the US terms. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's another double crochet. So that counts as 3 double crochets. Let me just put this away. This counts as 3 double crochets since the first chain 3 counted as a double crochet. So you're going to make a chain of 2, and then you're going to go into the magic ring with a total of 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. So that makes the second group of 3 double crochets. This is the first group, and then this is the second group, but they're separated by chain 2 space. Then you're going to make a chain of 2, and then 3 double crochets into the same magic ring. So 1, 2, and 3. If you're having a hard time holding the magic ring together, you can just pull on the tail of the magic ring so that the circle becomes a little smaller and easier to work with. But don't close it up entirely because you're still placing stitches into it. So after this is the third group of 3 double crochets, and then you're going to make a chain of 2. We want a total of 4 groups. So far we have 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to go into the same magic ring with a total of 3 double crochets, and this will be our 4th group of 3 double crochets. So this is what we have right now, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we are going to pull the tail of the magic ring and close it up entirely. So pull on it so that it can close up. And after this, you're going to make a chain of 2, and you're going to make a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 at the beginning of your round. So insert your hook into 1, 2 and into the third chain of the beginning chain 3 of the round, and yarn over, pull through all loops on your hook like that, and that will create our slip stitch. After this, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, leaving a tail to weave in, and then you're going to pull through. That marks the end of our very first round of the granny square. And as you can see, since we made a total of 4 groups, that means we have to create a square. We have this side, this side, this side, and then this side. So our intention is to create a square. So after this, you're going to go onto your next color. For me, that will be red, and I prefer to weave in my tails later on, so I'm not going to be weaving in my ends. As you can see, this is one of the granny squares that I've made, which is going to resemble this one, but at the back we still have the tails that we have to weave in. So grab your next color, and then you're going to create a slip knot. So to create a slip knot, you're going to cross over this yarn like this, as if to make a ribbon, something like that. Then hold onto the joining part there, and then yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through. So after this, you can pull on that tail. So if this is giving you a hard time to understand, you can put the video in slow motion so that you can watch exactly what I'm doing. So after this, you're going to attach your yarn into the space before that tail that we left behind after our very first round. So into this chain 2 space, you're going to put your yarn at the back, insert your hook, and then pull through. Make sure the knot that we created on the red color is at the back of your work, not at the front. So we just pull through the loop, not the knot. So after this, you're going to yarn over and then attach. So this doesn't count as a chain. We've just attached our red color. You're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. Now into that same chain 2 space, you're going to place 2 more double crochets. So 1 and 2. And after this, you're going to make a chain of 1, go into the next chain 2 space, and place a total of 3 double crochets. And after this, you're going to make a chain of 2 and 3 more double crochets into the same exact chain 2 space. So that will create our very first corner. As you can see here, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And after this, you're going to make a chain of 1 and then go into the chain 2 space with a total of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact space. Alright, so this is what we have right now, and I think we are now starting to see the square forming. After this, you're going to make a chain of 1 and then go into the next chain 2 space with 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact chain 2 space, creating our third corner. So as you can see at the beginning, every chain 2 space has received a corner, which is created by placing 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. But the very first chain 2 space only had 3 double crochets. That means it's not yet complete. So you're going to make a chain of 1 and then go into the chain 2 space with a total of 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, like that. And then remember the 3 double crochet groups, the 2 groups of 3 double crochets are separated by chain 2 spaces. So we have this group and this group. That means we are going to make a chain of 2 and then go on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of our round, on top into the top chain, and make a slip stitch. So for a slip stitch, you just insert your hook, yarn over and pull through all. And that's what we have. From here you're going to make a chain of 1 and then you're going to cut your yarn. So that marks the end of our second color, and you can see what we have right now. So I have to explain something. A corner, which is the one that has 2 chains, those corners will always receive 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. So if it's not a corner, like this space that has the chain 1, if it's a chain 1, it's not a corner, so it only gets 3 double crochets. So let's go on to our next color and see how it works out. So our next color is white, and we are making a slip knot just like we did for the red color. I hope you still remember. So make a slip knot, and this time I want to attach my yarn into this chain 1 space. Just get a chain 1 space, but I prefer it to be next to this tail, the chain 1 space that's next to the tail that we left behind while working the end of the red color. So insert your hook into the chain 1 space, attach. I hope you still know how to attach. Make that knot very tight, and that doesn't count as a chain. So you're going to make a chain of 3, and that counts as our very first double crochet. And I told you that the chain 1 space only receives 3 double crochets, so this counts as our very first one. So we're going to make a total of 2 more double crochets into the same exact space to make a total of 3 double crochets. So from here you're going to make a chain of 1, because we are not yet at the corner. We only place 2 chains in the middle of the groups of double crochets at the corner. So since we are not at the corner, you're only going to make 1 chain and then go into the chain 2 space. So once you reach the chain 2 space, you know you have reached the corner. You're going to insert your hook, make 1 double crochet, 2 and 3. And I told you when it comes to the corner, we place 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. So that's how we know that we have completed our corner. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1, because we are not at the corner anymore. Then you're going to go into the chain 1 space with 3 double crochets, because I told you each chain 1 space only gets 3 double crochets, like that. And then you're going to chain 1 and then go into the corner, and the corner receives 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. So if you are getting value from this video and you're liking how your project is working out, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I post any tutorial. So let's go ahead. You're going to make a chain of 1, and then you're going to go into the chain 1 space with a total of 3 double crochets, Then you're going to make a chain of 1, and into the corner you're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact space. After that, you're going to make a chain of 1, and then into the chain 1 space you're going to place only 3 double crochets, like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, and then into the corner, which is this one, you're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Okay, so after this you're going to make a chain of 1 because we are not at the corner anymore, and you're going to make a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the starting chain 3 at the beginning of the round. So onto the top chain, which is the 3rd chain, insert your hook, pull through all loops, and then you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So this is what we have so far. We are done with round 3. It's worked in rounds, but it creates boxes. So this is round 3, and these are the tails. If you prefer to weave them in as you go, that's totally up to you. This is how I prefer to do my work because I don't have a problem weaving in ends, really. So after this, you're going to go onto your next color. Mine is going to be blue. So I am basically referring to this square here, and I am following the same exact color palette. So you're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to insert our hook into the chain 2 space right before the tail that we've left behind on our white yarn. So into the chain 1 space. And attach your yarn, and then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then place 2 more double crochets into the same exact space to make a total of 3 double crochets. Then you're going to make a chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. So all chain 1 spaces only get 3 double crochets. Then you're going to make a chain of 1, and now we're at the corner, so we're going to place a total of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact space. So the rest just remains the same. I think the basic explanation happened at round 3, so round 4 should be a walkover for you. Just to remind you, you chain 1 if you're not at the corner, and then into each chain 1 space you place 3 double crochets. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, and then 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. You have to note that you always have to have a chain 1 space in between the groups of 3 double crochets if it's not a corner. Not if it's not a corner. If it's a corner, then it's a chain 2 space in between the groups of 3 double crochets. So chain 1, into the corner you're going to place 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Let me just finish up this round with you. After this, you're going to make a chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1 into the chain 2 space. We are placing a corner, so it's going to be 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact space. After this, you're going to make a chain of 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, 3 double crochets into the next chain 1 space, and then you're going to make a chain of 1. This is a corner, so it will receive 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets. Like that. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1 and make a slip stitch into the top chain of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. So insert your hook, pull through all loops, and then you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So that marks the end of round 4, and I think now you can go ahead and grow your granny square into whatever size that you want. So when you get the number of rows or rounds that you need for your project, I'm going to show you how I get rid of my loose ends. I know most people don't like tying knots, but I don't have a problem with that as long as it's done neatly, and I feel like it's really secure. So what I'm going to do right now is to get, apart from this string, the one that comes from the very last round, we're going to get the 2 strands that are close to each other, the blue and the green, and then I'm going to make a double knot. Make sure it's neat, double knot, and then you're going to make a cut close to the knot, and then you're going to get, the next color is white and blue, so get those 2 strands and then do the same, double knot, and then you're going to cut your yarn, and then you're going to get the next 2 colors, that is red and orange. Okay, red and white, and these ones are a bit far apart, but I'm going to just make a knot, and make sure you don't distort the shape of the granny square. So make a knot that's not going to create a distortion, and then you cut your yarn. After that, you're going to get your yellow and orange and red, and make a double knot, and then since this one doesn't have what to tie with, you're going to just cut your yarn here like that, and now we're going to get our darning needle. So you're going to get your darning needle at this point, and then we are going to only weave in this orange yarn, the one that comes from the magic ring. You're just going to go in and out of a few stitches. Watch what I'm doing. I'm going back and forth into just a few stitches so that we can secure this tail. Okay, so this is what we have right now, and you're going to cut your yarn. Now we're also going to weave in this tail here, the one from the very last row. Okay, so make sure you're not distorting the general shape of the granny square. When you're weaving in your tails, make sure you're a bit gentle and on the loose side. And then after this, you're going to cut your yarn. And that's how I weave in the tails. This is our perfect granny square. When you go to the back, it has knots, but they're not visible because this is the wrong side of the work. And when you turn it to the right side, we are not seeing anything like knots on the right side of our work. Alternatively, you can use your darning needle to weave in each and every tail if you have your time and you don't mind sitting around and weaving in each and every tail on its own. So this is how my granny squares turned out. When I turned them to the wrong side, this is what we have, and you can see they are very neat. Let me know down in the comment section how your granny squares turned out, if they turned out well, or if you were successful at making these, and if you liked the project. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.